after playing this game a lot longer and investing more time in it, it's becoming more apparent that Days Gone is exposing this Lucy O'Brien's, bullshit of just nonsensical contradictions in her own video review for IGN. I just don't understand how you're going to contradict yourself so many times in one video. So we're going to continue this, exposing this nonsense and contradictions that she had in this video, because there's certain things that just completely make utterly no sense at all.
A variety from nest to nest made me lose interest. All that repetition is exacerbated by the fragility of your bike. This thing gets banged up from contact with just about any object, including, sadly, freakers. Why take this joy away from me?
Oh, this is just nauseating. Not even nauseating, just gets irritable when I hear people that are not gamers like her, just by this video review, just the way she's coming off. Because I'm playing the game and I have evidence that what she's saying is not true with the bike. It just doesn't make a whole lot of fucking sense. Because you can upgrade the bike. There's perks to make the bike ride better. I think I brought this up in the last video. There's similarities with the way you can upgrade in Mad Max with the car and make it as smooth as a ride and make it as capable as you want to with upgrades and perks for that car that you can do for the bike in this game. So if you're talking about you can't run over this and the mechanics, or maybe you just don't know how to drive the goddamn bike and you have no skill on how to drive the bike in chaotic moments or adjust.
Or if you can drown in there, you probably could.
It just doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's completely stupid. Because I was actually on a bike in a sequence and I was able to shoot the guy while I was on a bike, and you can see the hit marker lined up on him. I'd rather just get off the bike and just take them out tactically, think as a gamer. But when you got idiots that say things like this, it just makes you take a step back. Like, why don't you just do something simple and just, instead of trying to run them over or being an idiot, just play the game with some type of intelligence and not look to do dumb shit or play like the Rad Brad. It just doesn't make any sense. You can upgrade the bike. You complimented the bike by saying it's a bitching bike, and then the next thing, it doesn't drive the way you want to drive. Maybe you should learn how to drive the bike with some type of skill, or you're just garbage at driving the bike. It just can't be solely the game's fault that you don't know how to fucking drive a bike. That just doesn't make any sense with perks and upgrades, especially when you get that bike towards later after that sequence when your bike gets wrecked. Just doesn't make sense.
While I don't mind the sense of vulnerability, it becomes a drag when you simply want to get from A to B to complete a task without the fuss of uncompromising physics. And what kind of biker drives around super carefully anyway?
This lady is an idiot. First, let me address what type of biker drives around carefully. Aren't you in control of the character that drives this bike? So if you're the one that's driving carefully, you're the one that's driving carefully. And number two, that statement alone, I don't know what is it supposed to emphasize or what is it supposed to correlate to, because that doesn't make any sense to me at all by saying what kind of biker drives carefully anyway. You're the one that's in control of the bike driving mechanics. So in the end, it comes down to your skill on how to drive the bike. Maybe you're driving too carefully because you're the one that's in control of the controller. Maybe she was being facetious with the line when she said it, but the way she's being kind of having contradictions in her own video, it just seems like what she's saying, she full on believes, the nonsense that she's spewing in this video. So, and number two, why when other games do something that's repetitive, they get complimented for it, but when this game does it, it's all of a sudden a nuance that it's a revelation that it's doing something repetitive. I'm not saying every mission that I've done so far is, in open world games are brand new, but every open world game has things that are repetitive. Horizon Zero Dawn had those bandit camps, basically the same thing, but it's the gameplay and how you go about the situation, how you approach it, and how the enemies attack you. And for once, I never seen in any game a horde of enemies on screen where you had to, come up with a plan just like that. So for one, that's not repetitive. That's something new that you never seen, a bunch of enemies on screen like that coming after you. So again, every open world game falls to this trap. It's about, is the gameplay fun, and what can you do with your skill set playing the game? So to me, that's just an arbitrary statement from a person that clearly is, can be easily refuted with facts and proof that you can see in other people's videos of Days Gone. So I just don't understand that statement at all. Just it's fucking stupid.
Days Gone ultimately feels bloated, like a movie that goes on for an hour longer than it needs to or should have. There's definitely a good game in here somewhere. You can feel it in the crunchy combat and when running from an enormous freaker horde. Some fine-tuning and editing could have removed the tedium and highlighted what makes this game unique and interesting, but Days Gone rides strictly down the middle of the dusty road and never finds its rhythm.
See, the game is repetitive, and like I said before, open world games fall to this trap. They do things that are kind of like the same, but just to try to make it unique and different, gives you that impression that it's different if it's done in the right way. So far, I haven't come across these problems that she's saying because I've played this game, and I'm showing you footage and unique things that she won't bring up in the game, like the weapon wheel, and you can actually, from my boy what Sam told me, you can actually upgrade to a bow and arrow where you can take it out and use it. I just don't understand. Like you saw right there, you're going to see that this freaker is going to go eat the freaker I just killed. That is cool, unique, and a different thing. Like it's literally eating the thing. Look right there, you see it, proof. Something unique and cool. But you want to say the game is, the world is bland and all this other nonsense. To me, you are full of shit, lady, because you don't know what you're playing, and obviously you don't know how to play this game, and you're just terrible at it, because all the things you're saying, I'm not coming in contact with any of it. All the people on my friends list who are playing this game are like, what game is she playing that she's coming across these things that she's saying that are not true? Like you see me on the bike there, I'm shooting at this guy on the bike. That's an option that you can do if you're just solely focused on trying to run over a freaker. It's bloated. I don't understand. Red Dead Redemption seemed bloated, and how many times is the big score going to revolve around robbing people? Dutch, all he did in that game was robbing people, and Arthur was speaking for the audience. This is getting kind of, stupid that we're just doing this and picking fights with the wrong people. But, he, at that point, he was just becoming a lunatic. But Red Dead Redemption gets praised for that shit. But when another game, has a different premise to it, it gets knocked down and points deducted, even though it's doing things that are correct. Like, you can move around in your own camp in Days Gone. You're not restricted to walking cinematically for no reason other than just stupidity. So Lisa O'Brien review is utter bullshit. Don't pay it no mind. I'd rather you watch Easy Alliance review because I feel like that's more on point. I'll leave the link in the description. Give me your thoughts in the comments.